Good morning. It is Saturday, December 13th, 2025. We are 12 days until Christmas, and we have a beautiful, cold, blue sky day here in our nation's capital, in Washington, DC, in the USA. Today, we're going to take a walk around some of the Gilded Age architecture here around Massachusetts Avenue and some other places in Northwest Washington, D.C. We're going to check out the holiday decorations. This is one of the grandest of the grand. This is the Cosmos Club. This is a private members club here in Washington, D.C. Always decked out for Christmas. You can see the wreaths on the windows and the lights around the door. You can see the French influence on this building with the characteristic mansard roof and the wrought iron around the entranceway. Those are, some of the typical characteristics. Also wrought iron railings around the windows, which you can't quite see because of those Christmas wreaths. Some of the other elements, the ornamentation around the windows. On this building, the motifs are, I think, fruits and vegetables, illustrative of wealth and prosperity, of course. This building sits right here on Massachusetts Avenue at the convergence of, 22nd Street to the west, Florida Avenue, Q Street. This is kind of a multi-street intersection here. What's normally busy during a work week, thankfully not too much traffic yet today. I'm hoping to get a good walk in without too much interruption from traffic today. And amazingly, not a lot of construction today that I can see. So that's a good thing. We'll hover here just for a minute. Just admire the beautiful architecture. We'll make our way down Massachusetts Avenue and take a look at all the holiday decorations around the embassies and other residences, and maybe we'll rate the holiday decorations because there are certainly a few that are not decorated. Hi, Kumpo, yes, no, this is not the UK. This is Washington, D.C. This is Northwest Washington, D.C., an area with a lot of Gilded Age architecture. And this is the Cosmos Club. Nice to meet you from Thailand. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. We have a blue sky day. It is 30 degrees here, so it's below freezing here, but that's okay. It's absolutely gorgeous, so we're here to walk. So we'll move our way from, this is Massachusetts Avenue looking east, and this is Massachusetts Avenue looking west, and that's the direction we're going to go in right now from the Cosmos Club, heading west to check out some of the beautiful architecture. You can already see some of the remnants of mansions here. I've told the story many times. During the Gilded Age, the late 1800s, early 1900s, the wealthy from different parts of the United States, they had industry in Pennsylvania and the Rust Belt and, oil, steel, railroads. They had their offices in New York or in the big cities where the businesses were, but they also wanted to have influence here in Washington, D.C. And so some of those big wealthy families built these big wealthy mansions here. And then in 1929, the crash happened, and many families could no longer maintain multiple residences. Even the wealthiest of the wealthy could not maintain multiple residences. And so the residences in Washington, D.C. fell into disrepair. Then, during and between the World Wars, the United States obviously was exerting its influence around the world, and other countries wanted to exert their influence in the United States. And so thankfully, many nations purchased or leased or rented some of these mansions to become the foreign missions, which would today become embassies. So having the embassies in these mansions is definitely a story of historic preservation, because many of these buildings wouldn't be here today if it weren't for them. Now here we're at the corner of Q and 22nd Street. If we continued in this direction and crossed the bridge over Rock Creek, we'd be in Georgetown. We're just across from Georgetown, right across the river. We're going to stay on this side today and check out, again, the mansions and the decorations on the holidays. This is Tomas Masaryk, former president of Czechoslovakia. And you'll see all around this area monuments to different world leaders, usually around the embassies. Now, we also have breaking news here on Massachusetts Avenue. We have some changes, and one that is kind of surprising to me, so we're going to have to do some research. This beautiful building here on the corner is a little later than some of the others built in the Gilded Age. This is the Embassy of Estonia, and I love this little building here. Absolutely love it. Definitely in the morning sun. It has a beautiful look to it. And you can just kind of see the flags peeking on the other side of that lamppost. We'll get a better view of the flags when we cross the street. Hello, Rohit. Nice to see you. Now, this one on the corner, this is not an embassy. This is a privately owned building. It's apartments now, I believe, on the corner of 22nd and Massachusetts Avenue. We've done a deeper look at this one in prior videos. This is Washington, DC, Rohit. We are in Northwest Washington, DC. And we're going to check out the embassies and the Gilded Age mansions and see how they're decorated for Christmas, and we'll give them a little rating. Thank you, Rohit. So this one, the Embassy of Estonia, just has a little wreath on the front door there. Just a little wreath on the front door. And as I mentioned, this one's not an embassy. This one is apartments. But you can take a look at all the detail, particularly around the roof line there. You could spend all day, okay, I could spend all day looking at every architectural detail of these beautiful buildings. Hello, Pure Veg. Nice to see you. This one here, okay, this is a little disappointing. No decorations. Now, I have noticed, if you have been to any of my other streams where I comment on some of the flags looking really tattered, it looks like recently a lot of the flags have been replaced. Now, did they listen to me? I doubt it. Maybe it was a quarterly cycle for replacing the flags, but the flags look a lot better. This is the Embassy of Luxembourg. And you can see, again, these mansions were built before they were embassies, right? So for the most part, the ones we're going to see today. But this one has again, that characteristic French influence around the roof, the balcony. Doesn't have an awning over the door. But you can see this is quite a beautiful residence, and the prime feature of any residence in this area today is having this little driveway in front, obviously, so you can park a car. Yeah, the Indian Embassy, we're going to see that when we go around the corner. There are several buildings that comprise the Embassy of India, the foreign mission. So we'll see a few of those here today. This is the Embassy of Luxembourg, and no holiday decorations. What the heck? Little disappointed in that, with no holiday decorations here for Luxembourg. They could do a little better. I love the building, though. The building's beautiful. But they could do better with the decor, for sure. We're walking west on Massachusetts Avenue here in Washington, D.C., in the USA. Now this one, we can tell by the flag, is part of the Embassy of Turkey. This is the defense attaché to the United States from Turkey. Hi, Zuki. I do live streams as I travel, and today I'm in Washington, D.C. checking out some beautiful architecture here. So we just passed the Embassy of Luxembourg, the Defense Attaché from Turkey, also a good new flag flying there. Right next door to the Embassy of Togo. This one here, Embassy of Togo. This is a newer design, could be late 1800s, much plainer, not a grand mansion, but still a beautiful little row house. Next door to the Embassy of the Republic of the Sudan. Hello to Russia, nice to see you. Rohit, that's very nice of you. Grab your popcorn and enjoy. This is the Embassy of the Republic of the Sudan. Now, this building is a little more ornate than the one next door, with the beautiful ornamented bays on the first and second floors, and that little balcony up there on the third floor. Now, here in the United States, we call the ground floor the first floor, and the next floor up is the second floor. I know in Europe it's different, that the ground is the ground floor and then the next floor is the first floor. So for us, the one on the ground is the first floor. Thank you all so much. Daryl, good morning. Good morning. We are rating holiday decorations today, Daryl, and we haven't seen too many. We started at the Cosmos Club and we did see some decorations there. Now you'll get a really good view across the street. Again, that one on the corner, that is, well, thank you, Daryl. Yeah, I'm so behind on everything. So I was in the UK for about 10 days doing some streaming and touring and studying there, and a little vacation. So thank you. Yeah, I got some cones for you, Daryl, right there. There you go, traffic cones. But across the way here, we have smaller townhomes. Here in this part of Washington, D.C., what I really love is that each townhome is distinct and individual. They're not cookie cutter identical styles here in this part of DC. There are some other parts of DC where there are, more row houses, but I'll call these townhouses. Why are there no people? It's 8:30 in the morning, and in this part of DC, not a lot of people live here. Many of these buildings are used as embassies and chanceries, but there are residences scattered in. Well, we've got good new flags out today. I love this. Now let's check this one out. This is not an embassy. This is either a private residence or apartments. I really like this design. I like the asymmetry. I like the porches, the balconies. It's really simple, but I think it's quite interesting. I also like the lampposts out front. And then this one, I love these windows. I don't know, we call these English style bay windows. You can see these are all new windows. They still have the stickers on them on the second and third floors. Simple and elegant. I know, Daryl, the leaves are everywhere. The leaves are everywhere, but thankfully it's not wet, so it's not too dangerous. Now, across the way here, just looking back, and we've gone down this block before. So one of those is the Embassy of Tajikistan, and the other one is, I don't know. I should have all the flags memorized at this point in my life, but I don't. Is it a Home Alone house? Stephen, someone had mentioned before one of the houses we saw looked really like the Home Alone house. So maybe we'll see that today. But yes, Tajikistan, and there's the other one on the left, I'm not sure. But again, as you can see, each of these townhomes completely distinct, completely different design that really sets them off. When they're all the same, sometimes if they're painted different colors, that helps. But when they're all the same, that gets a little boring. They start to look a little old and tired, but these have definitely kept their beautiful character and been maintained really well. But still no holiday decorations. What the heck? No holiday decorations yet. But we got some coming up here. So here we have a wreath on the door and a hat on the little lion or whatever that animal is there out front. This is not an embassy. This is a private home, so I won't dwell on it too long. But a nice wreath on the door. I mentioned earlier we have some breaking news in embassy world here. Some really serious breaking news that we'll see in just a minute. More cones, Daryl. Yeah, it could be. Oh no, they're not marked for cutting. They probably had the police tape up and down the street to prevent people from parking here. So no, I think the trees are fine. I think there was probably some construction or something going on here. Now this is part of an embassy. There's no sign, and the flag looks to me like a Caribbean nation flag. This is new. This previously was not an embassy that I'm aware of, but I really like the elegant wreath on the door. Absolutely love the lamp posts out front of the front door. Oh, I think I'm losing signal, so I'm going to walk a little faster. If I lose the stream, I'm just going to restart it right back. But I'm losing the signal. Now, across the way here, Embassy of Greece, the new part of the Embassy of Greece, next to the old part of the Embassy of Greece. We'll take a closer look. And here we have the defense attaché for, I think this is Belize. No, Greece, sorry. This is the office of the defense attaché for Greece. And this is quite beautiful too. Really elegant. The olive trees in front of the door with some lights there. Little wreaths on the balconies. That's quite nice. Thank you, Daryl. Yes, if you're enjoying this stream, please do hit the like button. The algorithm hates me right now because when I was in the UK, I don't know what happened, but I got a ton of UK viewers. And then when I came back home, I got nothing. So last night's stream, I got like nothing on last night's stream. I think I had 12 people on in total, literally 12 views on last night's stream. But I love all 12 of them, 100%. This is the older part of the Embassy of Greece in one of the older buildings. Now, if this were, and I do think it was, a Gilded Age mansion, not a fan. Not a fan of the design on this one going back in the day, but today it does look quite elegant because of the older design. Yeah, I did get a ton of subs though. I'm over 2,000, Daryl. Isn't that insane? So 1 year ago at this time, I had 100 subs. 1 year ago at this time. And my 1 year anniversary for live streaming is, I think, December 29th. So we're almost at 1 year of doing these little walks. This is one of my absolute favorites. And I want to take a minute. Let's move here first. Just to get the view walking up to the door. Really nicely decorated. Absolutely love what they've done around the balcony here. And then just enjoy the brickwork here. Got that diamond pattern in the two different colors of brick. Got some, while it is symmetrical, I have a really interesting brick pattern. You know, it's offset with the stonework. And then when we look up to the roof line, that is magnificent. Ben, hello. Good morning, Ben. Ben, we're on the search for some holiday decorations here amid all this beautiful architecture. Now, if we look up near the ceiling, the roof, there's so much going on. You can see those scallop shells modeled in. You can see griffins around the balusters up there. There is wrought iron work on the roof. This is just, this is a good one. And cheers to the owners for decorating for the holidays. Love that. We're walking west on Massachusetts Avenue, taking in all the architecture here. Where's Frosty? I'm Frosty. Ben, it's 29 degrees here. Here's another great view up to the front door here on this one. I do like this one as well. Again, I like the asymmetry. I like the windows. Really great feature to have that garage for those who live here. But no decorations for the holidays. And that's okay. That's totally okay. I think that's fantastic. Now, I mentioned earlier that there was some breaking news here on Sheridan Circle. This is the breaking news. Does anyone remember what this building most recently was? Up until a very short time ago, this was the Embassy of Ireland. And it's not anymore. This was a surprise to me today as I was walking here. But this was, for a very long time, the Embassy of Ireland here on Sheridan Circle. It is now for sale. So I will be interested to see if another nation comes into this location, or if it becomes apartments, or what becomes of this beautiful, grand Gilded Age mansion. This is a Gilded Age mansion. It's right on the circle. So you've got this side right on the circle with the wrought iron and the detail around the door. This is 2234 Massachusetts Avenue. Still getting a newspaper delivered, old-fashioned style. And then you've got the balcony window here, right on the circle. And then the flagpoles, which used to have the flag of Ireland here, and no more. Oh, there's a Google Earth truck wandering around, getting updated views of the circle without the Embassy of Ireland. This is such a surprise to me. So, yeah. Taking another look back, and actually a better view here of the Embassy of Greece. And we'll see as we go around the circle. We'll also see the residence of the ambassador from Greece. So the ambassador just has a very short walk. Some of them don't live anywhere near the embassies, but this one's very close by. This is a great part of Washington, D.C. If you visit Washington, D.C., and I hope folks who are interested do, it's great to walk around the National Mall, the monuments, the memorials, especially the museums. The Smithsonian museums are all free, including the National Zoo. But I highly encourage folks, especially those interested in architecture and history, to come into the more residential areas. Any of the areas in Northwest Washington, D.C., you can literally just park your car and walk and see a variety of architecture. This really makes for a beautiful photo. I don't know, I have to figure out how to take a photo while streaming. But that's why I carry my other camera with me. So when I'm done streaming, I'll come back with my, as I call it, my big girl camera and take photos because I'm getting beautiful sunlight today on this super cold December morning. Ben, I hope you have a really great day planned ahead of you today. Whoops. Okay. Watch the sidewalk. Watch the sidewalk. And along the way, I always suggest looking up and looking down so as not to miss anything. Orlando Letelier, April 13th, 1932 to September 21st, 1976, and Ronnie Moffat, January 1951 to September 1976. Justice, Peace, and Dignity. I'll have to look them up because I'm not familiar with those names. They could be related to one of the countries here around Sheridan, residing here around Sheridan Circle. Now, if I were to continue this way and cross this bridge, I would be in Georgetown, crossing over the Rock Creek. We're not going to do that today. Now this one here with the very interesting antenna on the roof. This, I believe, is the embassy of, is it Romania? Let's check out the sign on the door. Looks a little empty. This is the embassy of Romania. Oh, okay, look what we have here. The embassy of Romania to the United States has moved temporarily to 1680 Wisconsin Avenue. 1680 Wisconsin Avenue. Okay. I think I know where that, okay. So moved temporarily. So hopefully there's some renovation going on here, I hope. This building has looked a little worse for wear recently. So we'll have to go check out 1680 Wisconsin Avenue at some point. It's ringing a bell, and I think I have seen a sign for it. This is the residence of the ambassador from Turkey. This is the residence. The ambassador from Turkey is in a good stead here. This is one of those most grand of the Gilded Age mansions here. Hi, Quay17, nice to see you. But this would have been prime location right here on the traffic circle on Massachusetts Avenue, but also with quick access to Georgetown and probably a view of Rock Creek from one of those top floors. And look at that balcony. Hey, we're going to get a really good look at this one. This is one when I do my plan is to do an edited video for every single embassy with the history of the building and the history of the relationship with the United States. I've done one, the Embassy of Australia. So if you're interested to see what a really good edited video about an embassy looks like, check out my channel in the section where videos. I only have like 22 edited videos. There aren't that many. And you can check out my my video on the Embassy of Australia. My plan is to have a video like that for every embassy eventually. But I did want to just show the buffalo here, the bison guarding this bridge over to Georgetown. Obviously a short walk, right? Just from here to Georgetown. But I wanted to get a good view, I guess, behind the trees here of that balcony on the 3rd floor of this beautiful mansion. You were stationed in Turkey. Oh, wow. So how was it? Did you get any time off? Did you tour any historic sites? Johnny, good to see you. I've got a beautiful, sunny, blue sky day, Johnny. It's only 28 degrees, but it's blue sky and beautiful. Thank you for joining. Oh, Daryl, you loved it in Turkey. Yeah, it's on my list. I just got back from the UK, so I'll have to start planning my next trip for next year. All right, not too many decorations to be seeing here. Again, non-denominational, we assume some countries are not of the Christian persuasion and therefore don't celebrate Christmas, but we have other holidays to celebrate. But this is a really great view, and I think what I'm going to do is come back soon to get some photos around here, because when there are no leaves on the trees, I get more building in the photo, obviously. So while the green of the trees makes for a beautiful picture, I want to see more of the building. Hi, Amy. Nice to see you. Hello, Ramesh. The old Irish embassy on the right, they moved to an office building. It says, Bruce, yes, I was just saying. That was a surprise to me. Now, here's another one of those fire call boxes. You know how we search for the artwork? If you're not familiar, in Washington, DC, there are different art projects to install art installations in these preserved fire and police call boxes. And it's wonderful, except there's no art in here. I've done some research over, the last few weeks because we've encountered so many of these where the artwork was removed. So I have photos of the art that were in several of these call boxes, but I don't have an explanation as to why they're gone. So, yeah, we're going to have to do some more discussion about that. Around this area, they're red and gold. Closer to the National Mall, they're a powder blue color with a little bit of pink, like for cherry blossom time. DuPont Circle, they're like a green, like a light green color. And then in the business district at Federal Triangle, Golden Triangle, they're black. Most likely stolen. No, I don't think they're stolen. I think some were removed, like because the call boxes look freshly painted, right? So my guess is they were removed and freshly painted, and they just haven't been reinstalled. But I need to find out because it is bothering me. So this is Sheridan Circle, named for General Philip Sheridan. And there's his statue. That was undergoing some restoration recently, not to remove the patina. Um, the patina is part of the design for many sculptures that are made of, bronze, copper, that are going to get that patina on it. That's planned. So not to remove the patina, but maybe remove pollution. I'm not sure because it was fenced for a while. And then when it came back, I really didn't notice much of a difference. So they did some restoration. I don't know what. But there's a look back at the Embassy of Greece. And yeah, on this tippy corner here, right behind the former Embassy of Romania, was the former Embassy of Ireland. I'm shocked, Bruce. I am shocked. Because that was a staple here. That was always here. Now, in different places in this area, here in front of the residence of the ambassador from Turkey, and then in front of the embassy of Turkey, are statues to Ataturk. I'm going to say there's probably more statues of Gandhi and Ataturk than any other foreign person here in Washington, D.C. There's one Churchill. I don't know if there are other Churchills, but we'll see a few of those. The founder of the present Republic of Turkey, 1881 to 1938. It's not because I know it by heart. It's because there's a sign right there. But a really nice memorial to Ataturk. The Cosmos Club, yeah, we passed that. That's actually where we started, Bruce. So after we're done this stream, because I want you to stay here, if you go back to the beginning, that's exactly where I started, was the Cosmos Club and the decorations there. There are decorations there. Okay. To anyone walking here, this sidewalk is one of those dangerous sidewalks. Now, this building here, this is the Embassy of Latvia. And it's in a building that is in a very Southwest mission style. You can almost like imagine a bell up there at the top. But uncharacteristic, really, to Latvia. But, and this building, when I talk about a mix of architectural styles, this one always sticks out, right? Because you do have the Gilded Age architecture here, and then you've got this Southwestern construction here. Very typical Southwest United States. And here we have a Veterans Memorial and a Christmas tree. And some wreaths here at the Embassy of Latvia. Beautiful colors, same colors of the Latvian flag. Oh, look. So in the little library, the little lending library, welcome to the little free library, take a book, brochures and leaflets, etc. We have these all over, but day trips in and around Riga, we're taking that one. We're going to take that. You can see my gloves. That's how cold it is. Okay. Latvia 100 snapshot stories. Wow. So if you come here, what a great idea. More embassies should have their own little libraries. And it's in the colors of the Latvian flag. How nice. And I've got day trips in and around Riga. What a great idea. Cheers. Latvia. Great idea. It's a really great idea. And what looks to be quite a new flag. So bonus points if we're keeping, I said we were going to keep points today. Latvia is in the lead today for holiday cheer and for information. I love that. Now you can also see behind here the replication of that Southwest motif, the mission style, in the garage behind the building. How nice is that? It is very clean. It is quite clean. Get another look back here. And you can, I don't know if you can see, there's a mosaic beneath that window. The kind of terracotta tile mosaic under that window. All right, there's a very detailed look there at the Embassy of Latvia. Yeah, as someone asked earlier, like, where are all the people? You know, at this time of morning, usually in the summer, it's quite jumping. You know, by it's 8:54. It's about 5 minutes to 9 in the morning, and in the summer, oh, there would be so much traffic and many people around. That's why I would normally walk around 6 in the morning in the summer. But it's very cold, so just the people out with their dogs, you know, people who have to get out, are here today. Pasvente 68. This is Washington, D.C. We are in Northwest Washington, D.C. We're checking out the embassies and other beautiful Gilded Age architecture, and we're giving them a score for holiday flair. So the Embassy of Latvia is in the lead for a lovely holiday decoration and their little lending library. This is very nice. This is the Embassy of the Republic of Korea. This is the consular office. Down the street, we'll see another part of the Embassy of Korea. This is just one part of the embassy. And here we'll see another statue. This one too, Philip Jason. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, it does look European. The influence on the architecture here, very European and very much um, kind of the, what do you call it, Second Empire style, which kind of, um, dominated France, Europe. So the United States kind of copied the European design on these mansions that were built in the mid to late 1800s because the wealthy here wanted to be like the wealthy in Europe. And they had done their grand tours and they brought back all their architectural designs. I'm surprised there isn't more of an Eastern influence like there is in London, where like in the Victorian era there was more Eastern influence, but I think we were just a little too late for that. There is some, but not too much. Great questions. Thank you. So here on the circle, now someone asked me before about the Embassy of India. So we're gonna catch that shortly. I'm not gonna walk down this street because we've been down this little street multiple times. This is our street. And this is the Embassy of Armenia and Kenya and Vietnam and the Philippines, the residence of the ambassador from the Philippines. We've been up and down that street so many times. Cyprus, a whole bunch of residences and embassies down that street. So I'm not going to go down that way today. But just catching this one on the corner here, this is the residence of the ambassador from Egypt here on the corner. This one, not a big fan of the architecture of this one. You've probably heard me say before. It's a little blah. That balcony there has a very dictator feel to it. You know, like your grand dictator would walk out on that balcony, or Evita would walk out on that balcony. That would be the one. Uh, so not a fan. Also, frankly, it's not generally well kept in the front. I'm just saying, it's not decorated. Now you can get a little peek of that residence of the ambassador from the Philippines next door. You can see there are at least wreaths on the doors. And I'm not talking about holidays. I just mean like the landscaping in front of this building is not the greatest. This, I mentioned earlier that the ambassador from Greece just had a very short walk. No, this is not Detroit. This is Washington, DC. The residence of the ambassador from Greece is right here. And the embassies of Greece are kind of right in the center there. The two buildings. We're getting an amazing sunrise today. I hope you all can enjoy this. These are those winter days I adore because I love cold weather, but I don't like cloudy, rainy, misty days. This is perfect. This is crisp. Woo! Okay, dude. That guy on a bike. Bicyclists will kill me someday. I know they will. Now, I think I've said that maybe 6 or 7 buildings, even just today, are my favorite. I do that all the time. But this one coming up is my favorite. But first, just a closer look at the entranceway to the residence of the ambassador from Greece. Is this a world of pure imagination? I wish. Went to DC once, was sick, got bored during tour, and walked back to my hotel. You were 12. Minamin! Oh, it's great to see you. Yeah, I know. My God. I mean, it literally, I mean, he was like an inch away. If I just backed up, he would have knocked me down, broken my head. They're everywhere. In London, oh my God, the cyclists. As crazy as the traffic was, the cyclists were insane. I don't know how you all deal with that. For those of you who live in the UK, particularly in London, I do not know how you deal with that. And this one, I think this is also, no, I think this is separate. I don't think this one is part. Oh, it must be because there's no separate end. No, this is the entrance. Okay. Wow. So that is not a garage door. That is the entrance door to this one next door. Interesting. Now, directly across, that's the residence of the ambassador from Chile. We have gotten a really close look at that one before. That one is absolutely charming. But my fave, if I were to say there's a favorite, and I never know if these are all one building or if they're two separate buildings. I think they're all one building. This absolute amazing Second Empire building here, which is the Embassy of Haiti on the right side, and then on the left side, I don't think it's occupied. So as we get closer, we'll see. But just check that out. That is French Second Empire magnificence on that building. No, this is not London. Compass Reality Hitman. This is Washington, DC. This is the area in Northwest Washington, DC, mostly on Massachusetts Avenue. This street here is Massachusetts Avenue. And these are all the old Gilded Age mansions, many of which became embassies and foreign missions. And many tourists completely miss this part of the city. So I like to do, I'm a historian. I love architecture. So I do these little walks, usually one or two on a weekend and one during the weekdays. I like to do a few in the morning, and then I like to do them at night as well because they look completely different. Thank you for asking. Now, this one here, this is cute. This is a private residence, so I won't dwell on it too much. These here, you can see the Christmas decor through the door on that one. But here, I really like this doorway on this one. Um, as you can see, there's a statue right by the door of a woman holding fruit. Beautiful decorations around the door as well. Kind of those trailing branches with like brown and golden purple. It's quite pretty. Oh, I thank you, Miniman. Yeah, but my history studies are really around like geography, battlefield geography specifically. So architecture is more of a hobby. I am not an architect. I have to always say that because architects will always quiz me. I am not an architect. So I make a lot of mistakes, I'm sure, but I like to share what I see and what I like. I live in a colonial style home built in the 1930s. Older architecture, it does have a story, right? All the people who lived there, all the influences on the design. It's a great story. Well, thank you for finding my channel. I appreciate that. Now, there's some holiday flair with some simple, beautiful wreaths on the windows. I never know how people do that. Like, I know you thread the ribbon through the window. I can't. Try to do that on my home. It doesn't work because all the wreaths end up at different lengths. Never works. So, super points. This one's in second place, third place right now in our scoring. Embassy of Latvia is still in the lead. But I like to think like, who lived here back then? I mean, you've got the neoclassical designs, the carving, that beautiful ironwork around the entranceway. This part of the building that I'm focusing on now is not occupied. It's been unoccupied for at least 2-3 years. I won't say it's falling into disrepair, but you can kind of tell it's not occupied. Whereas this part is the um, Embassy of Haiti, and you can just see the difference. It's definitely well kept. And there's some holiday decor around the windows and doors, and some lights blinking on the first floor. Yeah, like look at that. Right? That does look like an observatory or a conservatory. There's definitely I'm guessing this little building in between is a connecting building. But they're not the same building, but they go very well together. This one has more rounded features. This one has more square features, you know? And yes, there's history there. I just haven't looked it up yet. So I'll have to do a video on that. Now back here, this one here is the Embassy of Burkina Faso. This little quaint building here with an obviously new-ish flag. So points for the flag. Hi, Bill Milligan. Nice to see you. Hello, Ramon. Very nice to see you. Now, we've been to this one before. I'm kind of sad to see no decoration, but this is an office building. This is a business. Maybe someone also lives here, but no decoration. But I'm a huge fan of that sculpture of a lion there, the two halves of the lion. I'm really a fan of that. And I'm also a huge fan of what they've done in the sidewalk. So hopefully very obviously, hopefully you can see there are broken pieces, maybe of something that was on this building, um, or near this building, or maybe not, or maybe it was just found. But this found sculpture has been embedded in the walkway, and I really like that. It doesn't look so great on camera. I realized when I filmed this previously, I was like, oh, it doesn't looks like just damaged concrete, but it's not. It's it's a carving. It's art that's in the walkway. I really do like it, and I like this building. Those who know my channel know I like black and brown together, or black and tan, or black and you know beige. So I really like the black window panes on this building. But yeah, I don't want to get onto the property here, but that is just, I'm going to try to stay as still as possible and come back and clip a photo here. Joe, I've thought about that. I have thought about asking, and I would ask, I would, you don't ask, you don't get, I've been to some places where I've just timidly knocked on the door and people so graciously welcomed me in to take a photo. In fact, there's one right here. I won't show it. Right here on this block, there's a sculpture that I adore. Um, and it's behind a fence. And one day I saw the gentleman in the yard and I just asked him, could I come in? Not only did he let me take a photo of the sculpture, he told me the whole story of the sculpture and where he got it and where it had been before. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, the planes. Yeah, Ramon. Um, we get planes. This is Washington DC, so obviously, fighter jets are heading over frequently. These are pretty cool contrails today. Makes for a great picture. Your father used to go to downtown buildings in New York and Chicago and give the guard $10, and he would rice paper rub the elevator doors. Joe Bob Jimmy, that is fantastic. I hope you still have those, or he still has those. That's tremendous. I love that. This building, not an embassy, but as long as I've always known this building, there's always been a U.S. flag in front of this building. I also like the different color of brick and the design up near the top. There's diamond patterns with the brick. I think that's really cool. This one is huge. This is double size. It's not a townhouse. This is a mini mansion here. A beautiful one. And we've got some greens. That's beautiful, actually. Quite beautiful around the door. Just the greens. Elegant. And again, that bonus of having the driveway right in front. This one here, not an embassy. And I'm guessing purpose-built as a multi-residence. It doesn't have the look of an individual mansion. It has the look of purpose-built apartments, flats, residences. Here's another look back at that beautiful Second Empire building here. Gotta be careful, the sun's getting super bright. I'm gonna shoot into the sun. Hi, Kay Collie, nice to see you. We have a beautiful sunny blue sky day, very cold, here in Washington, DC. We're mansions and the beautiful architecture in this area. Now this one, private residence. Not sure what's going. Looks like some construction going on. And this one does get some points for holiday decor, with some beautiful wreaths around the railings there outside of those windows. Now we still have some roses roses that are frozen. I am going probably this week, maybe tomorrow. That's where I go. No, I got to do some shopping tomorrow. Okay, scratch that. I will not be streaming tomorrow. Soon, I will go to the National Botanical Garden, which is very close to here, and we're going to go through the garden with and film the frozen flowers. There is something absolutely beautiful about frozen flowers. And we've had a couple of freezes, last night included. So that rose garden should be good and frozen. And I discovered that last year. It was really cool. This is the embassy of, okay, it's hard for me to say, Kyrgyzstan, 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 Kyrgyzstan. I do apologize. Kyrgyz, the Kyrgyz Republic. That one. Also, new flag. Nice. If you're unfortunate enough to park in the wrong spot in Washington, DC, you'll get a ticket. And the tickets are hot pink. You can't miss them. Sorry, dude. This one here behind the trees, Embassy of Croatia. Kyrgyzstan, thank you. I really have trouble saying that one. Embassy of Croatia. And the sculpture there, I always forget who that is. So I will cross the street. I always forget who that is. Some famous philosopher. Now, some nations have their embassy, their chancellery, their residence, and some of them also have a cultural office. So this is the Office of Culture for Korea. And we won't see it. Down that way, farther down that way, I believe is the French cultural office, but there are quite a few. Croatian SpongeBob is okay. SpongeBob, okay. I love that. I love that. Now this one always looks fantastic with a blue sky and sun. This is the Embassy of Cameroon in that amazing Gilded Age mansion in the Second Empire style. I really like the little teeny tiny windows on the top floor, the ironwork on the roof, that beautiful asymmetrical design, and a brand new flag. Now today I'm not going to complain because there's no breeze because it's freezing. So we don't need a breeze today. We don't. But that is the Embassy of Cameroon. Absolutely lovely. Now this is an embassy. Okay, danger hard hat area. This is the Embassy of Madagascar. Definitely undergoing some renovation and definitely needs it. And that's an old flag too. That flag needs a refresh. Now, I apologize. I said we were going to walk past part of the Embassy of India, but I think that was a few blocks further down than where we started. So I do apologize. Where? I think we missed. I think I did start a few blocks short of that. So I apologize. So whoever I promised the Embassy of India, I'm sorry. We're going to see I'm going to be very rude. We're going to see the uglier building of the Embassy of India in just a minute. This is part of the UAE. Is this the Educational Institute? Yes. So I mentioned some foreign missions have their chancellery and their residence and their embassy. They're all called the embassy. The entirety is called the embassy. Korea had a cultural office there. This is an educational office here. Embassy of the UAE. Education Affairs Office. And this one here, the Embassy of Malawi, also needs a new flag. Cute building, needs a new flag. Little brightening up would be a great thing. I don't know what this one is. There's never any signage around this one, but there's always a car, or a van. There's always something going on in the driveway. Whoops. Okay, again, sidewalks. That over there is the Embassy of Chad, in a very more modern, purpose-built building. That building was built to be an embassy. The Embassy of Chad. Oh, we do have a little flag action there. Little breeze. Thank you, Miniman. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. This is the Embassy of the Côte d'Ivoire here. And this is on the elephant safari. So what is the elephant safari? Well, when you visit the embassies in Washington, DC, a number of them have elephants, and this is one of them. So the Embassy of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, and there's one of the elephants. Now there's an elephant missing. The elephant that was in front of the embassy from Sri Lanka isn't there anymore. I wonder what happened to that elephant. So if you're on elephant safari in Washington, DC, don't miss this one right here at the Embassy of Côte d'Ivoire. And across the street here, the freshly renovated Embassy of Zambia. I want to find a way to get inside that building because I've watched the renovation and I've gotten little peeks inside, and now I really want to go inside. So hopefully there'll be an event or something. Events through um, the International Club here in Washington, D.C. often include tours and activities in the embassies. And I like this one. This is a cute one right here. Now, I'm not going to continue down Massachusetts Avenue. If I did, we'd encounter the embassy from Italy, the United Kingdom, Brazil, South Africa, Turkey, a whole bunch of other ones. But I want to head up here because today we were supposed to be on the lookout for holiday decor. And I know there are a few buildings across the way here that are decorated for the holidays. So we need to check those out. And I'm going to cross at a safe place because the traffic is definitely picking up. Thanks to everyone for joining me on this very cold Washington, D.C. morning. Get a better view here of the Embassy of Chad. This is one that's really hard to see close up. You know, best to view from across the street. Good flag. Hello, Jungle Girl. Nice to see you. From the Philippines. We passed the residence of the ambassador from the Philippines here a little earlier in the stream. It's quite beautiful. So if you're interested, check that out. But up here, we have the residence of the ambassador from the Netherlands, I believe. I'll double check that. And I do see some lights. So we will see some festive decorations up here. But before we look at that one, this is the former residence. No, it's not. Take that back. Scratch that. This is not the Woodrow Wilson house. The Woodrow Wilson house is up the street. I don't know who is in this one, but that's a good nutcracker there. We'll get a close-up view across the street. This is the residence of the ambassador from the Netherlands. Decorated quite beautifully. Now this is interesting. You have the stonework, but then you have that blue marble around the porticos up there. Quite pretty. And a nice entranceway. It really is quiet in Washington, even on a busy day. Washington roads are very wide, and the buildings are height restricted. So you don't get that wind tunnel or that noise tunnel effect. Also, we have lots of green space in Washington. I mean, you can just see here from this hill, these little parks that are everywhere. That really helps to keep it a quiet city. I don't know if this is a private club or a private residence, but it's quite lovely. You can see the tree through the window up there and that nutcracker on the doorway. Nutcrackers are a thing this year. Definitely a theme. Got some deliveries like literally tossed in the street. That's crazy. This is the embassy of Pakistan, the residence of the ambassador from Pakistan. The embassy is in a great big huge industrial complex north of here. So there's a purpose-built embassy complex near the University of the District of Columbia with some non-historic buildings in that area, but some nations needed a huge embassy and like a really, really huge office complex. And so the embassy of Pakistan is located there. And then this one is the residence of the ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Mauritania in this one. Again, two historic mansions built right next to each other. This is the home Woodrow Wilson lived in, and this home is open for tours. It's actually a really nice tour. I highly recommend it if you enjoy history. But between all these historic homes is this new construction. And I don't mind it. I actually think that the aesthetic fits, even though it's so very different from the architecture in the area. It pulls in the color scheme around the window pane, the really kind of understated design, I think really fits. The only thing for me that doesn't fit as well, I think the windows are too big. But otherwise, I don't mind this new construction at all. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining me on this super cold, beautiful day in Washington, D.C. Hey, Lily Cat. Lily Cat, you moved to Colorado. Oh my gosh. Lily Cat, well, you know where to find me. You know where to find me. And oh my gosh, it's cold here today, but I'm sure it's colder where you are. It's like 28 here. I'm glad to see you. I'm sad I won't see you on any of the walks like in person. I always thought there are some people I always think someday I may run into them, in the area. But I hope you're doing really, really well. And I'm really glad to see you. But I want to thank everyone for joining me today. And I wish everyone a really warm week, a beautiful holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate. Look for my streams. If you enjoy my streams, please hit that like button. I really do appreciate it. I've put some new things in the posts section. I have my holiday Main Street bingo card that I used last night. And I'll put some other things. Also, I've posted a members only post with my completion of the Metropolitan line in London. And I have like 20 other completist activities to post in the members only section with a channel update coming as well. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much, Ben. You are a huge supporter, and I appreciate you every day. Daryl, I do appreciate you, and everyone, Johnny, everyone. Thank you so much. Take care. Oh, and I forgot one thing. Go Navy. Beat Army.